Hey folks, welcome back to Let's Play Final Fantasy Lightning Returns Final Fantasy 13 on the series JG. So it's been an unusual break between recording sessions. No, you know what? I just had your comment open too, and was it CM? Somebody one of the regular commentators on the commenters on this series. Yeah, CM. Yeah. So he mentioned he's been playing the game and on hard difficulty, which presumably mean I don't know. That means it's a replay or a second playthrough or not. But yeah, I've been talking about there's super bosses coming, and I'm not that jazzed about them. But a funny thing happened. I had an evening where I was just bourbon and coke and not recording, and I kind of whipped through and did stuff, and I'm at the point now where we're gonna do a few quests on screen, and then all that's left are quests that are like Canvas of Prayers quests, where you just collect items that are not really worth showing on screen. I've done them. I have a save file that we're gonna load from eventually, probably over the course of this weekend's videos for those of you who watch them as they're uploaded, where we've done everything that we can do. So we've got a specific quest. We've got. Oh, it's feeling weird. I thought I was feeling a weird delay. You can't do the avid reader and voices from the or not voices from the grave. You can't do the avid reader, the avid reader, and to save the sinless on the same playthrough. They're mutually exclusive, and we've perma-failed the girl who cried wolf. But I have a save coming up where we've done every other quest. Meaning, since you can't do the girl who cried wolf, so you can't do the avid reader, it's basically a perfect save slot, except for missing this quest, since we have to pick one of these two, and the rewards from to save the sinless is better. The only other thing we don't have are what rough beast slouches, which is you have to beat one of the super bosses to get it, and last one standing, which you can't beat on a first playthrough. So basically, I'm about to have a save slot where we've done all the quests except for Girl Who Cried Wolf, and one that you can't do without beating the super boss that we're saving to the end before we wrap up the story, and one that you can't do on the first playthrough, period. And the Canvas of Prayers, I thought all we had left for Canvas of Prayers for Use None. Like, we have to turn this in, not a problem. Unfired firework? I looked it up. You just keep checking, like, there's a thing that you get. I had fireworks in my inventory, and you go to the firework machines and activate them, and at some point when you're out, you can check them, and there's like a percentage chance you get an unfired rocket firework instead of a regular firework. And then rebuilding, this is just, yeah, I had to get a guide, because there's specific places you can find them, and we found 3, and we hadn't found all of them. But turning those in doesn't get you any dialogue, they're just Canvas of Prayers quests. And it turns out, somehow, we missed one here. Not the Wildlands, sorry, the Dead Dunes. A new application, I just kind of missed it. We have to get lizard tails, and if you turn in those, you get a, that's just running around the desert. You've seen us do it. You attack lizards. Sometimes they drop an unappraised item, sometimes they drop a tail. And while I was doing that off screen, and like listening to, I wasn't even listening to riff tracks this time, I was listening to a podcast, Spontanea Nation, which is an old podcast, which is now up on YouTube. Climbing the Ranks level 3 opened up, in which you need to turn in like 20, oh no, it wasn't Climbing the Ranks level 3, sorry, it was Pride and Greed level 3. This is Yellowed Skull times 3, Yellowed Skull times 5, a Yellowed Skull times 20 pops up. So I also did that. So basically, we're going to be loading a game where we've done all this stuff. And all that's left to do is the super bosses, and I'm not that excited about it, because I just tried, right before I stopped to record, I just tried to fight Aaron Knight or whatever he is, and yeah, CM is saying, yeah, it took him several times, but he beat it on Yeah, I just lost. I didn't even get close. I didn't even get the first stagger, and I did exactly what a guide said to do. And it's you have to have time the defense. I don't know. So I mean, we'll get there and we'll figure it out. But I'm not that excited about it because it's going to be a pain. But we can at least talk to Tilda here.
We still call ourselves a research team, but it doesn't mean much now.
Because at the end of the last video, we collected the items for Tilda, who, as we have decided, she's looking to get some of that creamy milk from Dr. Sheep.
Thanks. This will be the perfect way to introduce myself. I've dragged other people into helping me with this, so I can't back out of it now.
No, you really
I
can't.
am going to visit Dr. Sheep right away.
Dr. Sheep's delivery. Tilda has decided to present Dr. Sheep with items he'd been looking for. Go to Arias and make sure he receives the delivery. Meanwhile, we can talk to the stubborn old man.
Like his old man, Cole isn't good at explaining himself or what's on his mind.
But pretty much nothing comes of that, so whatever. Alright, well, the fact that, trying to figure out where I've got the best chance of... Maybe you can't make that jump. Oh, I'm sure I've made it before. I just fucked it up there. Or from another location. Anyway, I'm not going to worry too much about chronostasis and saving time and blah 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 because I've already done all this stuff off screen now. So we'll have a nice efficient run through. But what's really going to happen is like there's an entire day where I'm just going to hit a... What's really going to happen? What'll be silly for you guys is that for me to get caught up to the right place, we're going to have an entire day where we just go to a hotel and sleep all day so that we can see the plot in this game is weird. The plot unfolds. I was waiting for there to be some kind of announcement on the loudspeaker. It sometimes happens when the alarms go off certain times of day. The plot, the main story plot, which is, you know, because you got... Hold on. Well, you got your main plot quests. You don't even have to do all of them. Or I'm not sure if you have to do any of it. Well, you have to do a certain amount of questing to unlock the end game. And I think doing all of the mainline quests is enough without doing any side quests. But even I think it's possible to skip some of the mainline quests. But you have the mainline quest in Luxarian where you deal with Noel, who's been leading a resistance against the religious guys and is just kind of angry about the world. Understandably so. It's a pretty fucked up situation with Luxarian with this weird, like, as is typically the religion of evil guys in JRPGs, you've got this pseudo-Roman Catholic church. And so you can do that thing with Noel. You can fight Snow and save him because he's turning into a Sith, and you somehow... I don't even remember how you save him exactly, other than just refusing to give up on him, and he stops being a Sith. And then it involves fighting, of course. The Dead Dunes quest is the one that is most connected to the main story. You find this clavis, which is this religious artifact that the evil guys need to do the soul song, which is where Vanille is going to cast some kind of magic spell and free all the spirits in the chaos from their torment. But Fang seems to think that it's going to kill her. And we're not even really sure that it's that... We're very suspicious of the church in general, and they're the ones who are saying she needs to do this quest. She needs to sing the soul song on the last day of the world to purge the soul, or the chaos of stray, suffering souls. So that quest actually connects to the main story, more so than the others do. And then you can save Saz and Dodge, which is nice, but doesn't really have much to do with the main story. And then you do a quest with Yule and, what's his name, Sid? How can I not remember if his name is Sid? No, he's not Sid. Caius. You do a quest with him, which involves fighting him, of course. And, kind of figure he's going to be this important dude in the story who connects with everything, but he's not really. Well, I guess you don't think he's going to be that important. Like, he had his own game that he was the main villain of. And at the end of that game, he's not quite beaten, or rather, he shows up in the postscript if you do all of the chaos fragments or time fragments or whatever they are. You get the optional bonus ending, which is basically him on a throne gloating that he won, even though he thought you did. And when you fight him, you find out that he and Yule are not connected to the main story and will remain behind, and his soul can't be saved, and whatever. It's like, fine, great. But yeah, none of it really seems to connect to the main story. The main story is just like a bunch of shit's going to go down at the end of days, and the hints about what's going on and is Bunavelza really a good guy, and what is our role going to be at the end, like what's actually happening with the main story. Those little hints, what I'm getting at is they get dropped at the end of every day. We have like a meeting. Usually it takes the form of evil Sarah. Sometimes it's other characters. Sometimes it's Hope talking to you about, hey, if you want to betray God, I'm just telling you, I'm there. I'm ready to go. But yeah, those little things, we'll have to see those. So I might just be sleeping for hours at a time in a hotel so that you can see them, and then we can load. So, well, basically, we're going to have a day at the end where there's nothing to do except fight the super boss. And then a special day after that where there's nothing to do but fight the optional dungeon of super bosses. So we can't talk to Tilda. We can talk to Cole.
Sarala has given me her blessing.
No, it's better than you deserve.
Good, good.
Have you tried our sheep dishes? They're great. You'll leave with a smile.
And a mouthful of sheep. Alright, so let's...
Yes? What can I do for you?
And now
Nothing.
I know...
I'm here to help you.
She's here.
Here, I've brought you these.
Are these what I think they are?
Is it your love?
Yes! All the natural ingredients I've been searching
This
for.
will help me make lots of
This
creamy
will
milk
advance
for
my
you.
research immeasurably. I am in your debt, young lady, whoever you might be.
You really don't know who I am, do you?
I gotta
No,
get her out of
I'm
that
afraid
stupid...
not.
The cat
Should
user
I?
problem.
Have we met before? I am terrible with people's faces, you know. Now, if you were a sheep...
She's supposed to be looking
Guess
at
it's
him.
not you after all. You can't be Deet.
It's
If you
Deet's
were, you'd
nuts.
surely remember me.
Did you say Deet? How do you know my real name?
I've been hiding my name forever. I'm ashamed to be called Deet. I'd rather be
Are you
Dr. Sheep.
Tilda, my sister?
Deet, it is you. I knew it.
Oh, never mind. I was
Just
saying that he
like
wanted her creamy
you two
milk.
are long-lost
She
siblings?
wanted his creamy milk, but she's his sister, so that would become.
You're actually Dr. Sheep's sister?
Yes, yes. We got split up hundreds of years ago. It happened back when the chaos first poured into the world. I never thought I'd find you out here. I mean, when I first saw you, I couldn't believe
Lightning
my
just
eyes.
cannot figure out
It was
a
so
place to
long
stand
ago,
that isn't
after all.
awkward, can she?
Yes, I could say the same. Why, I'd long given up hope that you were still alive.
I really didn't
But
think
I
about it that hard at all. I
understand
kind of
why
didn't
you
care.
couldn't get away.
I was afraid. I didn't know what I'd do if you weren't really my brother.
Well, probably
No
just
one
continue
knew
to not have a
me
brother.
either.
It really wouldn't have been that big a deal.
Everyone called you doctor. So, I just waited.
Until you found an excuse to approach him.
Yes.
Yeah,
Although if I had
she
to be
seems
totally honest
kind
with
of
myself,
uninterested.
the fact is,
You know,
was
like
just
lots
playing
of
it
little
off
animal
as long as I
NPCs are
could.
just making everyone
It's your
move
fault,
way too
Doctor.
much.
Now, how could you forget your own sister's face?
I'll punish you for this.
But I didn't. I mean, I did, but I thought she was dead. She looked familiar, but I had no reason to expect my sister to be here. It was inconceivable.
Inconceivable.
I looked for you for so long.
My little
And
white
I too,
polka dot
dear
yellow bow
sister,
is...
I'm sorry.
the only thing
I
that kept
should have
me
known
going.
it was you right away.
And she just turns
It's all
away
right.
from him. And he turns away from her.
You're alive.
What the hell?
can't
And
believe it.
maybe
It's like
this
a
is
dream come
this is the
true.
problem with these. Let's use the in-game accents for these cinemas. Like, it's a dream come true. It's this incredible emotional moment. Meanwhile, like, Lightning is walking kind of in place as a sheep touches her. Well, there we go.
Dearest sister, it's been far too long.
Why is the camera pointing up
We
there?
have a lot of catching up to do.
Well, I guess we're done catching up. We really didn't have that much to talk about after all, as it turns out. And Tilda's gone.
It may seem strange for me to say this, but I have no idea how fuzzy sheep actually reproduce.
I don't understand anything about animal mating habits.
Of the natural sciences. I claim to breed them, but truth be told, all I really do is let them go off into the plains at night. Somewhere out there, we scientists believe...
Up in the moonlight, I'm dreaming of me, someone out there.
Cornelia, that's her name. She spends nearly every night tracking fuzzy sheep. The night is full of perils, chaos infusions
The night is
everywhere,
dark and full
prowling
of
monsters
dangers.
of all kinds. I worry for her safety.
Terrors. Okay, well, your sister is instantly gone. So, I don't know if she returns to her own town, and I'm not sure if I care.
Why don't you think I always purchase some sheep's milk when I come here?
I don't really sell anything. I do sell stuff. Yeah, it's a general store. I need to think about getting rid of some of these ethers and getting some other potions, but I feel like having a bunch of ethers stocked will be my way to cheese one or another super boss. Alright, so now we have to find Cornelia. Because this is the last quest to be done here, and I believe it doesn't unlock until you do that quest where you reunite Dr. Sheep with his sister. After his daughter's name, for centuries has space in the day when it finally unfurled its petals. Oh, father's request is a different... Dr. Sheep's milk. I don't even know, Matchmaker? Turns out Dr. Sheep is none other than Tilda's long-lost brother, Diat. Lightning thought she was serving as a matchmaker for the smitten young woman, and a smitten young woman. In fact, she was helping together. Brother and sister who have been separated for centuries ever since the chaos first poured into the world. Huzzah. Alright. I don't actually remember where this lady is. She was up here somewhere. Yeah, here we go.
I think I should...
Are you lost?
And scared.
Gracious me, where did you come from?
She's dressed up as like a SciComm soldier from
Maybe you
the
shouldn't
other game.
wander out here at night.
I'm not wandering. I'll have you know that I'm
She
pursuing
was
science,
bustier and had like a
important
necktie. She
science.
could be...
Yes,
She's got
I'm
glasses
always
and long blonde hair.
playing
She
for
could
a
be evil
reason.
dominatrix
I'm here to
lady who
learn
was
more
like
about the breeding habits
acting
of
like she was
fuzzy
friends with Zaz, but then turned out to be evil dominatrix
You're
lady.
dedicated. That's great. But is it worth dying for? There are monsters out here.
Yes, I know.
Monsters
It
do
is
much.
believed that fuzzy sheep mate
Yeah, the weird
male.
dominatrix lady from
Tried
Final
on a
Fantasy
number of
13.
occasions to track them back to the breeding grounds, but
She
each
seemed like she
time,
was going to be a major villain, and then she just kind of
monsters
gets
drive
wiped
me
out
away.
by the main villain.
I've been forced to
Chapters
make my
of a lot of these
observations
games,
from
but
this distant
I should
spot,
probably be listening to
so
this.
as not to endanger the sheep by attracting more monsters. However, it is dangerous
She's
work.
sending sheep out
That
there, and they're
sounds
getting killed by
foolhardy to
monsters,
me.
and her response is to get
I
further away
accept
from the
the
sheep so
risks.
that they will
Do
be
you mind? I
even
have
more
work to do.
helpless.
Unless, that is, you would care to help me.
Would you like to watch sheep mating? Outside of Arya's village, biologist Cornelia is risking her life to investigate the mating habits of wild fuzzy sheep. If lightning were to shadow the sheep in her stead, she would have a better chance of fighting off the monsters and solving the mystery of the fuzzy sheep nesting ground. Sure.
Maybe, but you're putting yourself in too much danger.
Oh, I know it's reckless,
But I don't care.
but I have no choice. The whole of science eagerly awaits my results.
Sure.
Why don't I make the observations for you? I can keep the monsters away at the same time, and then let you know what I see.
Sure.
That sound good?
Sure.
But, oh, dash it. Very well.
On Dasher, on Prancer.
It is far from ideal. But what choice do I have? Monsters seem drawn to me like flies to a pile of behemoth dung. As far as I
Okay.
can tell, the fuzzy sheep spend the night
She is the
amongst
one
ruins
summoning
atop
monsters,
that
I guess.
hill. I hope you will meet with more success than I.
Pretty much
I'll do
given.
my best. Now, will you go home?
Fine.
Get the F out.
I shall await your report in Arius village.
Protect the sheep. Monsters stand in the way of the sheep and their breeding grounds. Protect the sheep and escort them to their nest.
The sheep hunker down and refuse to move when they sense there are monsters nearby.
Alright, so it doesn't seem like the sheep get attacked. Well, no, they won't now. This is the other thing. The main threat around here was those behemoth enemies, which are called juggernauts or something. But yeah, I wiped them out. I've wiped out almost every monster species in the game that can be, which is why the only thing we're ever encountering are the it's like an hour during the day where we can encounter Anubises, and 2 hours at night when you encounter these insects. So this seems, I guess, lots of enemies attack if you're not doing this, but this just seems, if you haven't wiped everything out, but this seems
This
ridiculous.
looks a lot like an egg.
I'm gonna eat
And
it.
it can't belong to the sheep.
What
Yeah,
do
the
you
sheep
have
are allowed to
there?
carry eggs.
Is it an egg?
What are you doing out here? I told you to wait for me in
Going to
Arius.
beat her to death
You
with a
couldn't
giant
just
glowing
loiter around
purple
the
ogre
village,
club.
twiddling my thumbs, waiting for you.
You could have been killed. But now that you're here, you might as well take a look at this.
Sure.
I found it in one of the sheep's nests. What do you make of it?
What's your deal?
You did? Are you sure it was a sheep's nest? Let me see. Gracious!
Glorious.
This is incredible. I do believe you have found the first verified fuzzy sheep egg.
A
Okay.
sheep egg? You're joking. I mean, that's impossible. Sheep don't lay eggs.
They can lay little brown
Oh, I
eggs. Didn't you
assure
know that?
It's entirely possible. As a
Whoa.
scientist, I can tell you that many kinds of animals lay eggs, not just
As a
birds and
scientist,
reptiles.
I work with lots
For
of
example,
chemicals that
monarch
threaten
trees
life on a
are
global
mammals that
scale.
lay eggs.
And
Although I
sometimes
admit
they
they're
spill.
decidedly uncommon. So, it's all clear now. That's why the sheep are...
I'm sorry, I don't have that much content to fill. Like, I don't want to take on the super boss tonight. I'm going to sneak in a video, or I figured 2. And then come back to this later when I feel like dealing with the super boss. And I'm talking over the only dialogue that I actually have to fill as content. That's one of my favorite little Mystery Science Theater references. As a scientist, I work with chemicals that threaten life on a global scale. And sometimes they spill. It's a great old Mystery Science Theater reference. But meanwhile, I just talked over this entire quest.
turn to the same place every night. They have to sit on their nests and incubate the eggs through the cold night.
These are the sheep's nesting grounds.
Yes! It's the greatest biological discovery of the century. Here, let me...
Wait a second. Now, these sheep are domestic animals, and you didn't know how they... Like, for the last 100 years, you didn't know how they reproduced? Wait a second. Maybe that makes sense because nothing's been reproducing for the past 100 years, but if so, then why are the sheep reproducing? I guess the sheep have to reproduce because, otherwise, if sheep, like humans, were no longer able to have children, we would be in real trouble. We wouldn't be able to have any kind of lamb.
Have the egg. I shall guard it with my life. If I can keep the embryo alive, and a fuzzy lamb hatches from it, it will be the final incontrovertible proof of my discovery.
Why don't you just leave them alone so
Decades
they
of
can
work and
do their thing? I mean, you can
have at last borne fruit.
make scientific
Thank you for
observations, but
everything.
if you want to make sure this thing hatches, let the sheep just continue to do what they do. Anyway, we got cool glasses. We got her soul.
Here, let me have the egg. If I can keep the embryo alive, and a fuzzy... The decades of work and self-sacrifice. Here, let me have the... If I can keep the embryo... The decades...
The sheep just kind of do their thing. Alright, well, that's kind of it then. We really don't have anything we need to do. There was more going on. Arius Village is not a location that I had a lot of clear memories of from having played this game many years ago when it first came out. City of Ruins I remembered better than... but there's a couple little quests going on here, so I guess it's a good thing that we took the time. I was gonna jump over and see if I could land on a tent. And... mess it up. Got anything more to say there, Kaj?
Not bad. Here's your cut. No.
Alright. Some point along the way, I ended up earning another reward from those guys because I was running around the desert trying to get lizard tails, which occasionally meant finding chaos seeds because there would just be random chaos storms even if there's nothing in them. But that would mean chaos seeds, and I ended up having to load the game because they gave me another ether, and I realized I probably just want to keep that in my pocket. So if I defeat Aeronite, one of the super bosses, I'm gonna use a bunch of ethers to do it. I can get another ether as a reward from turning in chaos seeds, and have at least one ether when I go to take on the other super boss. So you don't need ethers to beat either super boss, I don't think, but I will. If I'm able to do it at all, it's probably going to involve spamming overclock to, like, as soon as they get staggered, I probably have to be spamming overclock. When I fought the guy off screen, I did manage to stay alive. Like, I worked through 2 Phoenix Downs because I kept getting killed, even though if you do it correctly, you should finish without taking any damage. If you respond correctly with defending at the right moments and blah blah blah. But I managed to get KO'd twice, and then it does an attack that's called Fed Up, where it just literally just gets up and flies away, and retreats and ends the battle. And you can find it and fight it again, but it gets all of its hit points back, and you do not get back whatever resources you used against it, like, you know, items. So you might be asking yourself, JG, what are you even doing? What I'm doing is I'm just gonna go see Tilda real quick. Because she didn't seem to have as a goddess's disciple over here too.
You are the chosen one. You must now fulfill your sacred destiny.
I guess they just spy on the other settlements, that's what's happening?
Frankly, everyone's forgotten what we were supposed to research. I'm reunited with my brother at last. And it's all thanks to you.
Anyway, I just came back here. That was great. I'm really glad that we made that trip to see her. Alright, folks, that's going to be it for this video. When we come back next time, I mean, I'm just kind of killing time. I think we'll get a whole video of just goofing. Because I gotta see, yeah, I don't know. We gotta advance time, see a bit of dialogue. Probably advance time again. It'll be all cinematics and maybe me chopping off Lizard's tail just to give you a little flavor of what I spent all this time off screen doing. See you guys next time.